The lion is hungry. He sees a solution. The antelope. The lion flexes his tawniness, runs, leaps, tears with his claws, brings the antelope down in a thunder of muscle and bone. The lion eats, rips huge hunks of flesh from the flanks of the antelope as blood sinks into the dusty earth. Look, I'm hungry. I go to the supermarket and buy a boneless, skinless chicken breast. Also a bag of potato chips. On the way home, I eat the potato chips. When I arrive, I am no longer hungry. I don't feel like cooking. I don't like cooking anyway. I throw the chicken into the refrigerator where I forget about it until it spoils, and I throw it away in a plastic garbage bag. The only similarity I can see between these two acts is that traditionally it's the female who does most of the work. Has feminism come to the Serengeti? I doubt it. Meanwhile, I eat alone. Consider the female. A collection of twisting curves and deep dark crevices. The lurking yearnings of which she herself can never know for sure. She's always partly in the dark. It lies beneath her face. You think you see it all, but where the sun is brightest, the deepest shadows fall. I'd like to propose an alternative interpretation to the fall, the Garden of Eden. Eve is, of course, Eve. Adam is Adam, but the serpent is Adam's penis, which, of course, he sees in cahoots with Eve, because clearly it isn't following his instructions. Clearly it is dragging him into a disobedience which he can barely comprehend, for his mind is frozen in a perpetual kindergarten, concerned primarily with shapes and colors, the province of the eye. She has engaged in a kind of hypnotism that supposedly serpents perform on birds, or flutes on serpents, fakirs, and we begin to see the groundwork for the myth as we currently understand it. It's only after centuries of sexual experience that men can begin to convince themselves they have anything to do with this at all. But from there, it's an easy, short leap to presume yourself the cause, the prime mover, the instigator. Look, if you need to stay at my place tonight, I've got to warn you, if you come home with me tonight, I'm liable to you being a woman and me being a man, you being a very attractive woman and me being a man. I'm liable to get ideas in my head that aren't going to leave it very easily, and while I'd like to think that I'm a gentleman and all, I know in my heart that I'm not. In the right circumstances, I do things, horrible things, things I'd regret for the rest of my life, and well, if you want to regret them with me, come home with me, I won't stop you. So I'm just some straight guy, and I don't know what bathhouses are like, but I know what I'd like them to be! A place where flesh becomes supreme! All thought is annihilated! The toss to the crocodiles, the limbic reptile brain takes over and strides forth on its belly, dictating eyes that see only texture and movement, and smells dictate action as words can only dream of doing. The crushing weight of consciousness is sloughed off like old clothes, and I cease to exist! Actually, it's not like that at all. I have recently learned that homosexuals can be just as awkward and shambling as I am. I was sorely disappointed. Well, to me, this hesitation suggests that either A, we are far more attracted to each other than we realize, that this kiss wouldn't be simply a kiss, but rather a torrid, incendiary combustion that would thrust us both into the most furious passion of our lives, that to try to contain it would cause our very beings to burst. Or B, we are in fact not attracted to each other at all. We are in fact repulsed, that for us to kiss would cause us both to want to vomit and die. How can we tell? Well, I think we should kiss. And I've been thinking about language and about how people all over are pretty much the same when you strip off all the skin, I mean all the inner organs and fluids. There's just not that much variety, but there's all these different words. And so language must not have come from inside of us, but from without. A response to the landscape. And I've been thinking about these Native American languages where they say a 3-letter word and it means that skinny lake on that tall mountain with 3 trees at one end that tower over all the others where birds sing in the branches. And how do they do that? Of course they can do that. They've lived with this landscape all their lives. It's like lovers who can say, "When Thursday?" And I've been thinking about your body and about that clump of little moles and that dimple where your hip becomes your thigh, and you can leave now and I won't stop you, but I wish you wouldn't, because I don't have a word for that yet.